Hey there, and welcome back to Retire Your Way with ILG Financial. My name is Chase Lopez. This is Dave Lopez, and today we're coming to talk to you about the national debt, and it's recently passed $31 trillion. That's trillion with a T.
Yeah, I don't feel like you make this sound as big of a problem as it is. There should be more panic in your voice to tell this, but you're right. It's a huge, huge problem.
Exactly. And it just recently happened. We passed this $31 trillion mark. And a couple of fascinating items that Dave and I found. That equates to $93,000 per person in our country. Yeah, that's per person.
Yeah, and we miss that too, thinking per person. They say per taxpayer, it's about $240,000 per taxpayer. Now that makes sense, right? Imagine a family of 5 has 2 taxpayers in the household, but 5 people. That's about half. 93,000 per person is close to $500,000. 2 taxpayers
with a whole family,
240. So it's a huge problem. The point is that we're quickly have reached this point where there's no realistic way this is going to be able to be paid back.
Exactly. And recently, right, in really the past 12 months or so, with interest rates going up, this problem has really just been exacerbated, hasn't it?
It has, and it's been one thing after another, but it's imagine a ball rolling, a snowball rolling down a hill, and it gets bigger as you go. It's expanding exponentially, which is the concern. They've been kicking this can down the road of dealing with this. To give you an idea of how bad this is, at the turn of 2000, our debt was only about $5 trillion. $5 trillion from 1776 to 2000. Okay, and from 2000, in 23 years, we've gone from 5 trillion to 32 trillion, right? Now here's the problem. We've got to pay interest on that, just like you as homeowners. So what does that mean, Chase?
Yeah, well, it comes out to, at least currently, right, and this is just at the current, this is before interest rates have really gone up, we're paying about, what that number, that's an astonishing number, Dave, $555 billion just in interest. That's not paying down the debt at all. That's just the interest.
That's usually not part of the budget. When they say the budget is it's the budget plus we've got to pay the interest on this debt. $554 billion is about 1.7% of the debt. So they're paying about 1.7 in interest right now, which is at historic lows. That's a bad thing. What that means is that we're expecting interest rates to go up. In fact, the government is actively raising interest rates to stop inflation. Their target rate's about 4.5%. Guess what happens, Chase? If the debt stays exactly where it is at $31.5 trillion, but interest rates the government pays goes from 1.7 just to 4.5. The interest goes from 554 billion to about 1.5 trillion. It triples. So by adding no extra debt, just going to 4.5%, which is kind of where we're heading, we triple the debt.
Well, and to your point, Dave, the interest rates are going up. They already have gone up, and they will continue to go up, at least for the foreseeable future. And to your second point, that's if we didn't add any debt to the debt rolls at all, which we all know is just not possible, right? More debt will be added on to that 31 trillion. Probably by the time you see this video, it will be almost 32 trillion, right?
Yeah, when researching this, we were having a hard time writing a number down because it was changing so quick. You can go to usdebtclock.com, usdebtclock.com. We'll put a link below, and you can see all of these numbers. US Debt Clock estimates in 4 years, based on what we're doing now, the debt will be 44 trillion from 32 trillion, right?
Yeah.
That's a 40% increase. You see what I mean by the snowball going down? 40% increase in what's taken us 200 years to amass in debt in the next 4 years. And that's, if interest rates don't change, it's not a problem at all. Now interest rates change, and we've exacerbated the situation.
Yeah, and we're really seeing this in real time, Dave, this year. This excessive borrowing really adds to a lot of the inflationary pressures that we're already seeing now, and it becomes more and more difficult for the government to alleviate a lot of these inflationary pressures, because debt is just being continued to add on to the top. Interest rates are going up. So again, to your point, it just creates this spiral effect that really the government is having a hard time getting their arms around right now.
They are, and here's the takeaway, right? The takeaway is, so what does it mean for us, right? That there's concern. Just like if you were running up household debt on your credit cards, sooner or later you've got to address it. You can hide it for so long, but sooner or later the credit card companies are going to cut you off, and you're going to have to go into bankruptcy if you don't try to fix it or mitigate it. Remember, with our debt problem, here's what's going on. There's two ways to fix it. One, you can dramatically lower your spending so that we start paying down the debt. Well, the challenge here is, we haven't seen that happen in the last 50 years by either political party.
Correct.
No one's trying to reduce spending, right? It just doesn't happen, and it would have to be draconian cuts in spending to make something happen. The only other way to fix this problem, really, is draconian increases in taxes. Now, here's the concern. We are really at historically low tax rates, believe it or not, right now. So we're talking about just going back up to some rates we've had in the 60s and the 70s. The Congressional Budget Office said that to get a hold of this thing, tax rates would have to actually double across the board. Now, will that happen? I don't know. But that's the concern for you as you're in or near retirement, right? If you were not planning for your taxes to double in retirement or somewhere much higher, that could affect your ability to live the life in retirement you want to do. So what do we do?
Yeah, well, and just to piggyback off that point, Dave, a little bit, and this is a story that we tell a lot of clients, which is, you all may be familiar with an old president, President Ronald Reagan, right? And back in the day, the highest marginal tax rate, and it's hard for people to believe, the highest marginal federal tax rate was around 90%.
Yeah, just shy,
90%. So a lot of people asked Ronald Reagan, as you know, he was an actor before he was a president, they would ask him, well, why do you only act in 2 movies a year? You're done by, mid-year. Why don't you make more movies? Yeah. You're a great actor. Why don't you make more movies? Well, Ronald Reagan said, well, why would I do that? I'm going to be basically working for free. He pushed himself into the highest marginal tax rate, and with federal and state combined, he was taking home basically nothing, right?
Yeah, so he stopped working.
I throw that story out there to say, tax rates have been certainly higher than where they're at before, and to your point, Dave, that's really one of the only solutions we have to pay down this debt. Really, beyond that, there's not too many more solutions.
Yeah, so for you, if you're listening, what's proactively that you can do? If you think taxes are going up, and if you want more information on this, just reach out to us personally. We can get you the data. But what you can do to try to put yourself in a better position 5-10 years from now in a higher tax rate environment, there's steps you can take to try to mitigate that so you're taxed less, have less taxable income later. There's a lot of tricks you can do and strategies, but you have to be proactive. So get with your financial professional. Get the information from them on what they expect to happen with taxes moving forward. If they don't have it, you can reach out to us and find out what steps you can take to mitigate taxes going up so that you're not hit with a tax time bomb down the road.
Yeah, and to your point, Dave, I really think everyone's financial plan, when they're building out a financial plan, just based on the numbers that we gave today, you have to at least be thinking taxes, probably will go up in the future, and your financial plan has to address that moving forward so that you're not, to your point, hit by that coming increased tax bomb. So to your point, if you need any additional information or want any additional information, please get with your financial professional, get with us. We're happy to kind of talk you through these different items. If you liked our video today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below the video here. Also hit that alarm bell. It'll give you notifications for any future videos, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.